We want to add and subtract rational expressions. And in order to do that, really help us out if we can find the least common multiple. So in order to find the least common multiple, we want to follow these steps here. The first thing that we want to do is we want to factor each polynomial completely. So up here we have the x squared minus 9, and then we have 2 times x squared times y cubed. So if we have x squared minus 9, that is difference of squares. So we can write that as x minus 3 times x plus 3. So that's in our factored form there. And then if we have 2x squared times y cubed, that we can write as 2 times x times x times y times y times y. So if we're looking at what things, the next step that we look at is find the highest power for each incurrence in the polynomial. So in this one, we have 2 x minus, or we have x minus 3, and we have x minus 3 and an x plus 3. We have a 2, we have an x squared, and we have a y cubed. All those things need to make it into the least common multiple. So we have 2 times x times x times y times y times y times x minus 3 times x plus 3. And we can write that as 2x squared y cubed times x minus 3 times x plus 3. We have another example where we have 8x minus 16 and 12x squared plus 12x minus 72. So if we look at this first one, we have 8x minus 16, and then we can write down the factors for those. And the first thing that we can do is we can factor out an 8. So then we're left with x minus 2. And that 8 we can rewrite as 2 times 2 times 2 times x minus 2. The next one that we have is we have 12x squared minus 12x minus 72. And we can factor out a 12 out of that. And what we're left with is x squared. That should be a plus right there. X squared plus x minus 6. 12 we can write as 2 times 2 times 3. And then we can factor the x plus 3 and the x minus 2. So the next thing that we need to come up with is we want to write each factor to the highest power it happens in the polynomial. So for each of these, they each have a 2 in it. We have 2 times 2 times 3, and here we have 2 times 2 times 2. So this one, it happens 3 times. This one only happens twice, so we want the higher power, the higher times it occurs there. This one has 1 3. This one doesn't have any 3s. So if this one happens once, we're going to use that one. We have an x minus 2 and an x minus 2. That happens in each of them. So the highest power in this case is 1, but we just need one of them. And then we have an x plus 3 for this red polynomial. So then we can rewrite this. We can write it as 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 multiplied by x minus 2 multiplied by x plus 3. And then we can write this as 24 times x minus 2 x plus 3.